I'm Tanisha, and I just became the first female player to hit 10,000 days in hardcore Minecraft, accomplishing some really amazing things, with no mods, no AFKing, no duping, and I did it all live on stream. You are going to witness all the ups and downs, but most importantly, you'll see how these struggles tested me greatly, and how they pushed me to become a better Minecraft player and person. Because I wasn't always great at Minecraft. I wasn't even good, really. I literally almost died to a berry bush. Yes, you heard that correctly. A berry bush. So if the girl who almost died to a vegetable can survive 10,000 days in hardcore Minecraft, you can too. So grab a snack, settle in, and please stick around to the end as I show you some of my most insane creations, including multiple mega builds, and document the entire process. One of these builds took almost 2 years to complete, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. Now, here is the story of how I survived 10,000 days in my 3-year hardcore Minecraft world. I started my world on March 1st, 2020, beginning during the 1.15 update. Now, I didn't have a lot of Minecraft experience, and you'll get a good sense of that when I show you my starter house, but please don't let that scare you. I promise I get better. Well, at least I can't get any worse. I spawned in a spruce forest and quickly came across my first village where I stole everything I could. But take note of the bell. I decided to keep every bell from every village I ever found, and that is something that I have stuck with to this day. Just wait till you see how many bells I have now. I worked on getting my base set up, moving villagers into a beautiful accommodation, and expanding my space, just the basic Minecraft stuff. I then discovered Twitch and started streaming on there. And this is where everything was about to change. After only a couple of streams and still having no idea what I was doing, I was raided by Philza,
No way!
who infamously had one of the longest and best worlds, who basically revitalized hardcore Minecraft. This was an amazing opportunity, and Phil and his audience were there to guide me through my first ever dragon fight, and in my mind, this is where my world truly began. It was the creation of an amazing and loyal community who, like me, had a passion for Minecraft. This was my chance to make something of myself, to prove to those people who were invested just exactly what this world could become. After the successful dragon fight, I dedicated this cake to Phil so I would never forget where it all started, because this was an integral part of my journey, and the shrine would always be a reminder of that. Early game, it was a huge learning curve for me. I really wanted to take my game to the next level, and rather than just pottering around and building things here and there, I started understanding the basic mechanics of how to have a thriving Minecraft world. I struggled immensely with redstone, but got some basic farms up and running, such as my iron farm, pumpkin and melon farm, wool farm, and my sugarcane farm, which has obviously had some changes. Once I'd beaten the dragon, I felt like I could do anything. Except fly.
And we need to be flying north. Hello? Okay. Oh, my elytra broke! That's why!
Yeah, flying with elytra took me a while to get used to. The elytra incident sure do make up a lot of close calls in my world, because I crashed into things over...
Ow!
And over... and over again.
I'm gonna be able to break this and fly out without setting on fire. Nope.
And what's the best way to get better at flying? Ah, yes. Start a mega build in the end where accidentally falling into the void is a huge possibility. This gave me the wonderful idea to start my first mega build. I called it Wintererland. And this is where I would spend the next 5 months transforming the end into a winter-themed snow globe. I built a giant dome by hand using over 100,000 pieces of glass. I added snowy-themed mobs, built a central Enderman farm, and added some decorations to make it feel magical. This was a very special project for me. Completing a build this large helped me see my potential. It made me realize that I was capable of doing big things in this hardcore world. I was hooked on the idea of these monumental builds, and these grindy transformation projects truly had my heart. I loved what I had completed. The dome was the best thing I had ever built, and then I had to destroy it. I reached a goal on stream where I needed to respawn the Ender Dragon.
Oh, it's real! It's happening!
Yikes. I successfully killed it, but it did do some damage, and I'm yet to repair it all. That brought my total dragon kills in this world to 23. We'd come a long way since our berry bush days. And while it was sad to see some destruction around my first ever mega build, the battle scars showed just how much I was able to achieve if I didn't let failure and imperfection hold me back. Plus, the Enderman farm still works. I worked on getting some things fixed up in my overworld to improve functionality and looks. One thing that I definitely needed to help stay organized was some automatic storage. I set up this building, which would be home to all of the stone and stone variants, making sure I had plenty of space so this room could grow with me as the world progressed. You might notice that I don't keep all my storage in one area like some other players do, and whilst that's cool, this was going to be a forever world for me, and I wanted to give every space meaning and purpose. Breaking the storage up into individual sorters also gives me reason to visit more areas and builds in the world. So another one of these storage rooms was my custom mineshaft. This build started off small, and I was honestly so surprised at how many things I managed to fit in here. The main storage this holds is all of my ores, redstone, and treasure. I also keep all of the bells that I got from looting villages. I have 379 bells in here. Although some villages have more than one bell, it is common for there just to be one, so I guess this guarantees I've looted around 300 villages. I sure do love exploring, and maybe that's why my world size is 25 gigabytes. At the start of the entrance, you'll notice I have some deep slate emerald and deep slate coal as decoration. I wanted to make sure I collected some before the generation change in 1.18 where those blocks would be almost impossible to get. I mined out this ravine-looking area to get down to level 12, which was originally the level I could find diamonds on, before it moved to around level -56. I wanted this mineshaft to be safe, but also detailed and decorated, as mining is obviously an integral part of the game Minecraft. And yes, I know there's lots of ways to mine and get materials these days, but in my opinion, nothing beats classic haste mining. This mine also intersected with a natural mineshaft, which I made sure to incorporate in this project. By enhancing the original essence of the design, I was able to keep some of its main features, but upgraded them to add detail and depth. One of my main goals in the world is to build every automatic farm. I was lucky enough to find a poisonous spider spawner that was in a good enough position that I was able to utilize it and make a farm. I don't have a regular spider spawner yet, so this was great if I needed some extra string or spider eyes for potions. This farm also features an on and off switch, as the spider screeches can get very overwhelming and annoying, so I only turn it on when I need it. I also have an entrance to the lower levels of the mine so I can continue to strip mine for diamonds on the new diamond level. I still have a ton of space down here that I don't really know what to do with yet, so if you have any ideas about what I should add, then let me know in the comments. One really cool part about this mineshaft is my minecart that actually transport items from the bottom all the way to the top, so I don't have to worry about having a full inventory. Once the minecart is full, it gets sent to the top, unloads, and when it's done, it comes back down, ready to be reloaded with items again. Honestly, with my redstone skills, I was actually pretty surprised that this works. I also keep all of my deep slate storage in here, but I'll definitely need to expand this at some point. One of the recent additions to this mineshaft is this room, which contains some wood storage for jungle and birch. Down below it, it has acacia and mangrove, and I've also left spots ready for the new types of wood coming to the game soon. I'm expecting to add a bunch more storage here as well, and already have the space dug out and prepared. If you head back up directly above it, you'll be taken to the oak storage, and then above is my spruce storage. I designed this to feel like an indoor-outdoor oasis space, as spruce is my favorite type of wood. I thought it deserved a little extra love. Let me know what your favorite type of wood is in the comments. And it better be spruce, because that's clearly the best. Heading up one more level on the very top is dark oak, and I'm very happy to have space for everything here. I designed the outside to look like a lumber mill from Skyrim, and I think it turned out pretty cute. I want to eventually have some Fletcher villages up here, as another one of my goals is to collect every single villager trade. I want access to as much as I can so I can set myself up for the future in this world, as you'll be surprised just how many things are tradable. One of my favorite trades and villages in the game are these guys. Located above my stone storage, we have the stonemasons. I spent so much time trying to collect every type of terracotta and glazed terracotta, and we may have had some villager incidents when they didn't give me the ones I wanted. But the best part is they can trade stone for emeralds, and you can even buy quartz from them, which you will see was a vital material for that massive 2-year project I was talking about, so stay tuned to the end so I can show you that. If you've done any sort of mining project, you'll know just how many resources you'll obtain. That brings me onto one of my larger overworld builds, my slime farm. I mined out this space all the way to what was originally bedrock before the generation change, so being able to stock up on over 500,000 pieces of stone was amazing, as I had so much to trade back for emeralds to my stonemasons. I wanted this area to act as a central hub to my overworld, and right now my plan is to have different things running off into each direction. One path leads back to my jungle village, the other leads to a zoo, this one is going to go to my museum, and the other is going to take us to another part of the base. Of course, I had to add a dome. This one was a little smaller and much more manageable. When mining this project out, I did run into some slime chunks. I even made a small custom slime farm, so the build had a dual purpose.
And they fall all the way down here. They fall into our... Can I make it? Yes. They fall into here. And then this cart picks up all the drops and deposits it into this chest, and we're good to go. Listen to that. It is working. Hear that?
I used 28,000 pieces of lime glass to create a foggy glass effect that could represent slime. I even found a zombie spawner down here that I turned into a small farm if I ever needed it, giving us another one to check off the list. During the creation of my slime farm, I got a cactus farm up and running so I could start producing enough green dye for all the lime dye I would need. I didn't really do too much with this space, but it gave me everything I needed. Around this time, I was pushing 1,000 hours played in the world, so I thought it was probably beneficial to get some proper farms set up to help supplement my food supply and my rocket supply. Firstly, the creeper farm. Building the creeper farm took me forever because I had to rebuild it like 5 times, adding more layers or switching up the outside design. I'm sure I'll have to fix it up again because even now, the farm still spawns spiders in it. Probably because I can't count, but you know, you can't win everything, I guess. I tried to add a lot of detail to this area to make it feel complete, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Now onto the crop farm. I divided this into 4 segments: wheat, potatoes, carrots, and beetroot. Above the crop farm is my farmer villages, where I can buy 3 golden carrots for 1 emerald, which is my main food source. I can also trade them all of the materials acquired from my crop farm and pumpkin and melon farm, so it balances out really nicely and is a great source of XP. And to finish this place off, both my automatic pumpkin and melon farm and the crop farm are connected to this auto-sorted storage. I designed this space to feel like a little dining hall, and it does the job beautifully. Oh, and if you're wondering what this random floating box is in the sky, by the way, it's my concrete converter. I place down concrete powder and the water turns it to concrete. I do have to take my totem out of my hand for this, which is terrifying, but when you need hundreds of thousands of pieces of concrete, this method really is the fastest. Having it located this high above the ground meant my creeper farm directly below it can run super fast, as they are the only mob loading in. I'm still shocked that it took me to about day 3000 before I finally had a good food source. And if you're thinking about making your own hardcore world, please take my advice and do not wait until day 3000 to do so, because otherwise you'll be scrambling around for food and you'll probably have to eat berries, and those are so dangerous. I continued collecting more of the villager trades and building a separate area for them all. All these separate huts started to make the jungle village, well, feel like a village. I was satisfied with the progress I was making in the overworld, but I was in the mindset to create another mega build. So I started my second end project. This was intended to be a nether themed dome. Of course I had to do another dome, but unfortunately this was the project where I experienced my first burnout. I had great success with my first dome, that I immediately thought building a second one could be just as cool. But placing that much glass and doing that much math made me lose interest super quickly. Leaving this project half finished made me feel like I had failed my audience. I promised them this huge project, but I knew I had to move on from it to continue making progress in the world in other ways. Giving up is not in my nature, but this slight failure did mean I had to be more diligent about the types of projects I took on in the future. I had to find a way to have balance in order to avoid the exhaustion. Bouncing around from project to project is something that I do currently in my world whenever I need a break from a specific thing, but I always have the intention to return to the projects and complete them all at some point. The Nether project dilemma has actually ended up turning into something amazing. I think I just needed to give it some time to work itself out. Technically, I built this a few hundred days later than 10,000, so I'm not supposed to show you, so let's just pretend you didn't see it, alright? On that note, if you do want to see future builds, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you aren't going to miss any future videos I post. And at the time, after feeling a bit down with the non-completion of the Nether Dome, I knew I wanted to take on another big project, one that had multiple elements so I could jump around as I pleased. And that's when I found the perfect ocean monument for a new mega build. I drained the area around the monument in the shape of Australia, my home country if you can tell by my accent.
We drained our first section! Success!
And I wanted to design the terrain in a way that looked like the satellite view of the country. Some areas are sandy, then the coastal areas are more lush and green. Inside, I successfully built a guardian farm which would help supply a bunch of prismarine for a future mega build that I had in mind. I included some upside down creatures for authenticity, but I do feel this area needs a lot more detail, and of course, I do have plans to fix this in the future. As we head back to the overworld, another great set of villager trades that came in handy was my librarians. I collected every max book type and even made sure I got the curses. Having access to all of these enchantment books is awesome as I can upgrade all my extra tools and armor easily. If you've seen any of my previous world tours, you'll see that some changes have occurred to my house. I decided to relocate it again and upgraded it a little. Now it is quite quaint, but considering I rarely sleep here anyway, it's not a crazy big deal. This area used to be for all of my old storage before everything started moving into the auto sorters. I still have a lot of junk here that I need to move and sort, but for now it's a place for my shulker monsters to accumulate. Underneath this starter storage room, I have my basement, which used to be used for overflow storage. I transformed it into my trophy room, where I keep some of my treasures such as my first god apple, some leaderboards from past events I have held, and my old bows that can no longer be repaired. If you're wondering why the floor looks funny, it's because these used to be full of maps. I experienced a game crash where all of the map data got corrupted and completely went blank.
I think my chickens are a little broken?
Oh look, I found the missing map textures. No clue what happened there. I have fixed this area twice now, and I'm glad that this was the only type of data loss I've experienced on this world. The crash could have been way worse, but since using stabilization mods such as sodium and fabric, the game has run a lot smoother. Now you're probably wondering where I keep what some would call the rarest item in the game. No, not tall grass, although I do almost have a stack of those. I'm talking about the dragon egg. I built a little shrine dedicated to the dragon egg super early on in my world. As a part of my jungle village, we have the cleric hall. This is where I keep not only the egg, but it's also where I keep my clerics and my potion making materials. This egg further symbolized the success of my first ever dragon fight, and it's just as special as the cake I showed you earlier that was dedicated to Filza. Not only do I have this small cake, but I also built a giant replica of a Minecraft cake. My community used to be known as the Cake Club, before rebranding a few years later to be the Beanie Bunch.
This is my blue beanie, my prized possession. Literally, I wore it in my first stream. I'm gonna wear it till my last stream.
Blue beanie is what I wore on my first stream, and I haven't taken it off since. Literally. I sleep in it, shower in it, just kidding. But I do wear it every stream. I like to think it's my good luck charm. The giant cake was built to commemorate the community and allowed for members of the live streams to use their channel points they got from watching to pick a block and item that I would go and collect and they would get to place in my world. Once the cake club fully filled up, I officially retired this space, but I did add a book so I can continue to reward those who support the channel. There is a cool event that happens every year on Halloween, where Minecraft adds the possibility of a few select mobs spawning with pumpkin heads on. I try to take advantage of this and do a special Halloween spooktacular stream where I catch as many as I can, and also do a Halloween themed build. A couple of years ago, I built this pumpkin patch with this giant weeping willow tree. And last year, I built a haunted house based off of this Lego build that I saw. Inside created the perfect space to store some of my Halloween mobs. Did you know that some skeletons will actually drop their bow and switch it for a sword? That's pretty neat. Behind the haunted house is the start of my skeleton spawner farm. I plan on digging the area above it completely out, creating a spooky underworld themed design that I want to work on for Halloween this year. As I show you some of the last sporadic things I have lying around my world before we get on to the most recent project, let me answer some questions I commonly get asked. How many totems have you popped? 15 in total, 13 on accident, 2 on purpose. I will note that I haven't popped a totem since updating to 1.16 and getting access to netherite. Have you killed the Wither? Yes, I was absolutely terrified, but yes, I defeated the Wither. Have you fought the Warden? Well, I wouldn't exactly say fight, but I do possibly hold the record for killing the Warden at the furthest possible distance away. This was my first ever hardcore world and I really wanted to grow as a builder. I chose not to use any game-changing mods or texture packs because I knew the more cool blocks and fancy items I had access to, the more I would rely on them. And that would hinder my creativity. Connected glass textures and fabric sodium to help prevent lag are a must, however. Using only blocks that were in the game and no mods to help make life easier, I learned how to do things the hard way, improving my patience and skills. This mindset allowed me to dream big and really pushed me to think outside of the box with this build you are about to see. As you head through the Nether, traveling down these Nether highways, we have my craziest build yet. Welcome in to the Nether-ending Oasis. I spent over 2 years transforming my Nether from a dark and dangerous wasteland into a beautiful and vibrant tropical-themed oasis. And why spend that much time and effort on a build? Well, the answer to that is quite simple, really. I hated the Nether. It was terrifying, and I've had endless amounts of close calls here. Oh, that just hit me. One heart, one heart, one heart. So I wanted to change that. I wanted to create a build where I felt safe, with no lava, no mobs, and had access to any farms I would need without almost dying every time I needed to access them. I used over 170,000 pieces of blue glass to create an ocean and over 140,000 pieces of blue concrete to form the walls and sky for this 300 by 400 perimeter space. Alright, you ready? 3, 2, 1. There it is. We have officially this time completed the sky, like for the 3rd time, but it's actually done now. And I should probably mention that I mined over 3 million netherrack by hand, and I only broke 541 diamond pickaxes. That's not too bad, right? Don't stress too much, they only cost me 1 emerald to buy from my toolsmith villages, so breaking them was not a problem. Every block in here is completely spawn-proof, except for the ones that the Endermen have stolen. Because the main feature in this build is actually the Wither Skeleton farm. Located in the center of the resort is the spawning platform, and the killing chamber is just through the front door. I know the space is a little bigger than a regular perimeter, but I wanted to push the walls back in some places to make it feel more dynamic, and not give you that box feel that other Nether projects have. I needed to add some buildings to make the theme come to life. As I had this rather large ocean space, it was fitting to add a lighthouse. I positioned this exactly so I could fit a blaze farm inside. I was nervous to build this one, but surprisingly had no issues. The hardest part was the interior decorating, trying to build this bed. Not even joking, it took me 2 hours. Look, only using spawn-proof blocks was such a challenge. Moving over to this mountain, we have my frog light farm. I made this using only 3 platforms and a few less frogs than the recommended amount, but it works amazingly well. Frog lights are a great lag-free light source that I'm excited to incorporate into more of my builds. I knew I was going to be in this project for quite a while, so I created an auto sorter and auto smelter that could help keep things organized. I love how simple and clean this space turned out. Not only does it sort the drops from the Wither Skeleton farm, but additionally sorts all the Nether theme blocks as well as quartz. I of course had to add some wildlife, and did you know that Minecraft turtles don't actually need water to breathe, just air? Surprisingly, guardians don't either. So there is a few of these swimming around the build. I then had the brilliant idea to add some life to the sky by trapping some ghasts. It was so easy to catch them. I did it first try.
Why am I like this?
Okay, it was a second try. Never mind, you get the point, it took a few tries. It was worth it though. I wanted this space to feel like a tropical private island, so I added a ton of custom palm trees, boats, natural features, and decor to achieve that. I worked really hard on nailing some smaller detailed builds, which is something I've always struggled with. This was actually the first project that I used custom banners for as well. The banners helped a lot with the theming of these marketplace stalls. I was even able to spell out some of the letters on these shops. Inside of the surf shop is where you'll find my honeycomb farm. This thing produces like crazy, and I desperately need to condense these blocks and expand the storage. The final farm that I have in here is my gold farm. I like to call it my piglin rain cloud. It's not completely centered with the spawn proofing, nor is the spawning platform very big, but it does act as a good temporary gold farm for now. This project was actually the wildest thing I've ever created. At the start, I was nervous, but I had a vision. It didn't turn out exactly how I planned, but it turned out even better than I could have imagined. I strived to have this mega build full of detail. I didn't want to look back on it wishing I had done more. I'm so proud of it, and it's validation that you can honestly create anything in this game. I have a ton of future builds planned, and a lot of goals that I'm still trying to complete. A lot of them are actually underway right now, including another huge mega build that I have indeed already started. Surviving 10,000 days always seemed like a faraway dream.
I can't wait to get to like, 10,000. 10,000 would be pretty pog. Get your break before.
But we managed to achieve it together. I want you to know that to me, Minecraft is so much more than a game. It gave me the opportunity to let my creativity flourish, all whilst being surrounded by a loving and supportive community. Nothing is more rewarding than getting to do what I love every single day. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. I poured my heart and soul into this world, and I'm excited to keep growing and sharpening my skills, because remember, my builds used to look like this. So seriously, anything is possible. Thank you so much for watching the world tour of my 10,000 day hardcore Minecraft world. Come join the journey, and I'll see you on the next one.